Come, come and sit by my hearth. Warm your hands at the fire and your soul with some scotch. That's my favorite, but I do have more to offer you. Rest a while. Allow me to share with you a few stories, and I would love to hear one from you. My words will weave for you a tapestry of life. I will show you spirits without time. I will show you ancestors who, very much like we are now, shared stories around a fire. I will show you how those spirits and ancestors have led me from discovery to knowing, and from knowing to following. Discovering? Knowing? Following what, you ask? The answer is simple. My path. Welcome to Rune Walking in Modern Times. Welcome back to Rune Walking in Modern Times. I'm Kenn, the Rune Walker. In this series, number 7 of the podcast, I've been doing interviews with other rune workers. These episodes are much easier for me to do than coming up with a full episode on my own. I know you're probably thinking, are you kidding? You barely take a breath. While this is true, I can talk a lot. I also desire to provide a more structured and less wandering discussion or flow sometimes. I'm stretching myself. It's been a focus since finishing the first full draft of the rune book. Writing as I speak is not a bad thing. However, I want to find my writing voice. Somehow, I got signed up for Reddit. I believe someone sent me a stack, and that's how it all began. I haven't actually looked at Reddit until this morning, when my daily Reddit email notification aroused my curiosity. Apparently, I joined a community named Writing Prompts. Writing Prompts community description is as follows. Quote, you're a writer and you want to flex those muscles? You've come to the right place. If you see a prompt you like, simply write a short story based upon it, get comments from others, and leave commentary for other people's work. Let's help each other out. End quote. This seemed like a good place to stretch me as a writer. If I ever used it, well, I'm using it now. The prompt that inspired today's episode is obviously about Loki. His name is in the title after all. The following prompt post was April 9th, 2023 by Merfulaglope. Unbeknownst to most, the Norse gods are still among us. Thor is a grumpy personal trainer. Freya is a successful influencer. Quite a few of the dwarves are top-level sysadmins. But what about Loki? Of course, this prompt caught my attention. I absolutely believe the Norse gods, like all others, are still around. Thor as a grumpy personal trainer wouldn't have been my first thought. I do appreciate that he was not referred to as a himbo, though. I can very much see Freya as a successful influencer. In fact, at the very moment, I realize I have a lot to learn from Freya about this topic. But what about Loki? I have so many thoughts to explore, most tied to some current social changes in the world. I can only speak to my experiences in the United States, and although the details may differ, it is most likely poignant wherever you are. My thoughts are mine. This podcast is about rune walking in modern times, and I would be remiss if I didn't include a rune casting about this topic at hand. I reached into my red velvet bag and cradled the quaking aspen pieces. My intention was to ask the runes to share with us a thread running through this tapestry. What wisdom can be experienced from wondering, what about Loki? As I connect my skin to the keyboard, I wonder if the thread will be similar to my thoughts. I wonder how my thoughts about this will be challenged and shaped like steel being forged. Let's flip the runes over and see what whispered secrets and hidden wisdom they hold. I must admit, the thread is unexpected and not totally clear to me yet. The first rune is Awaz. Awaz may speak about defense, the yew tree, and the balance of life and death. The second rune is Isa. Isa may represent ice, blockage, glaciers, standstill, and preservation and destruction. The third rune is Tewaz. Tewaz can be a rune of truth, justice, discipline, honor, courage, and the warrior. I sat with this thread for quite a while. I have a few ideas, and yet they still feel a bit amorphous, which I realized is nothing short of anything related to Loki. I think I've come to realize that Loki would be an 80-year-old driver of a 90s sedan plugging along at 60 miles an hour in the fast lane. Loki would be a referee in a highly anticipated sports match. Loki would be the motivational speaker who talks about commitment and teamwork in an arena full of disposable employees. Loki would be the person, the last person you would expect, who stirs your loins. Loki would be your child or parent who, from their very essence, is unlike you. Loki would be the seemingly insignificant straw that broke the camel's back. Loki would be the person who, holding the mobile phone, records our most unhinged acts and uploads them for all to see. What do all of these have in common? Do they have anything in common? I'll tell you what they have in common with me. I've been in every one of those. Maybe not the unhinged Karen-style situations being recorded, thankfully. All of these situations have brought up the uncomfortable lies I've told myself. I respect everyone, including my elders. This organization or project would fail without me. I'm straight. I'm gay. The list goes on and on and on. Loki holds a sacred space. Maybe it's sacred. Maybe I just categorize it as sacred because I see the value. Loki is able to point out our lies. He is the equalizer. He is the fire that purifies. Another aspect is that he does not get away with it. There is a price to pay for his actions. He suffers painful venom, loss of children, and betrayal. All of this because he is himself. His role in mythologies may be interpreted as the antagonist or villain who seeks to bring down the forces of good. Yes, that was meant to sound dramatic. The view from the cheap seats will give a different perspective. Let's return now to the runes I pulled. Awaz, Isa, and Tewaz. I sensed that I had to clear my thoughts about this before I was able to see more clearly. Another requirement was to go beyond the very rudimentary rune descriptions I provided you. Loki is the unseen one watching from a distance. He provides us with experiences that challenge and hopefully break our self-important perception structured in isolationism, in favor of alignment with our unencumbered selves, accepting our sovereignty within the whole. I appreciate you spending time with me today as we explored some wisdom and guidance held at the crossroads of the runes, Loki, and rune walking in modern times.